Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Boostly podcast. This is a podcast that gives you, the listener, the tools, the tactics, the trainings, and most importantly, the confidence so you can go out there and get more direct bookings. Today, we are going behind the host / the spotlight series. It's a little bit of both because we've got a very special guest where he's not only grown from 0 to over 500 properties in a very short space of time, but he's also now sharing, he's an author, he's sharing all of the experience and that information with you as our listener. And I'm really excited to dive into that. So our special guest today is Brooke Pfautz. Is that correct? Did I pronounce that correct?
Close to Pfautz, yeah, but close enough.
Pfautz. He's the MD and founder, CEO of Vintory. So think inventory, Vintory. And we're really going to be diving into the new book today, which is Vacation Rental Secrets. And this is all about how you as a host can avoid the top 10 mistakes that we see all the time in the short-term rental world. So welcome along, Brooke. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to get into this.
Absolutely, Liam. Big fan. Glad to be here. So yeah, really excited. Thanks for having me.
Whereabouts are you in the world? And just give us a bit of a background to your history.
Yeah, so I'm located in Baltimore, right outside of Baltimore, Maryland, which is about an hour outside of Washington, D.C. I, like many other people, stumbled into the short-term vacation rental industry. I was actually in mortgage banking. I was a corporate finance major in college. Got into mortgage banking, thought that was going to be my career. And then 2007, 2008, kind of financial crisis put a kibosh on that. So ended up stumbling into short-term rentals, started a company in Ocean City, Maryland, that I founded. Did have a silent business partner in that business, but ended up, growing that company pretty fast. Grew that company from 0 to 500 properties in 5 years. I exited that business in 2013. Then I had various other leadership roles within the short-term rental space, but almost all of it was based around inventory acquisition, all around growing inventory. I really wasn't doing much on, kind of the guest marketing. I really wasn't doing anything operations. I was focused exclusively on the supply side of things and growing inventory. And then I found about 4.5 years ago, I founded Vintory. And the reason, Liam, I decided to start that was I'd go around to these conferences, I'd talk to people, and the biggest struggle that I found that everybody had was growing their inventory. And there was no companies out there that was actually solving that pain point. It was the biggest pain point that they all had. It was something that I absolutely loved. It was something I was super passionate about and something that I was blessed to be pretty good at. So I said, you know what, let's start a company that helps professional short-term vacation rental managers add more properties. And that was kind of the catalyst of Vintory 4.5 years ago. And fast forward today, we've helped over 650 companies with their inventory growth efforts. We've got over 50 people, 50, we call them growth experts on our team that do one thing and one thing only, and that's help you grow your inventory. So that's how I got to where I am today.
How the idea for this book came along. Where did the idea of Vacation Rental Secrets come from?
Yeah, so I had no intent. So I did write a book. I wrote an earlier book called From 0 to 500 Properties in 5 Years. Published that, became a bestseller in 3 categories in Amazon, and just loved sharing all the information I have. But I really had no intentions of writing another book. But it was literally Easter Sunday this past year, and the extended family had all left. I poured myself a big glass of wine. I sat down on the couch and just started flipping through my LinkedIn feed. And one of the first things I saw was a post from somebody in a completely different industry, actually in more of the software space, technology space. And he asked some other people, within that space to share their top 10 mistakes. And I thought that was such a brilliant idea because a couple things, first it was, you learn from your mistakes. That's where you truly find your learnings and you expand and you grow. And secondly, there was something about these top leaders, these like people that I idolized, that were being vulnerable and sharing how, they made these mistakes. And I just thought it was a fantastic idea. So I quickly picked up my phone. I literally emailed it to 4 of my friends that own vacation rental management firms. And very quickly, I actually got a response. I got a response from a gentleman named Ryan Dame, was the first one. I remember it today. It was at 10:26 that night. And I posted it on LinkedIn the next morning, his top 10 mistakes. And Liam, it went viral. I mean, the engagement on that post was probably one of my top posts ever. I mean, the comments and the feedback and everything else. And for the next, then I posted the next 3, And for the next 52 days straight, I continued to post a top 10 mistake from a leader within the space. But what was funny, people actually started coming to me out of the woodwork, people that I never even met before, and just sharing, their mistakes with me. And I kept on posting them, and it just got to the point. I mean, I could have gone on literally for years on this, but at a certain point, I had to stop it. And what really became the catalyst of turning into a book was I went to a conference. I went to the Northwest VRP conference in Reno, Nevada, and it was about halfway through my post, and a gentleman came up to me that I'd never met before, and he introduced himself. He said, "Brooke, I just want to introduce myself. I want to thank you for this series you're doing on LinkedIn. It is by far the most informational and value add posts I've ever read in my entire life. And I want you to know that I actually print out every one of these posts, and I have a little 3-hole punch, and I put it into a binder, and I'm turning it into like his own little, he turned it into his own little book." And from that point on, I was like, you know what, this information is just too valuable not to share. So that was when I kind of made the decision when I got home, I was going to kind of take all this information and turn it into a book. So yeah.
Where can people find this book for the ones who are very excited?
Yeah, so it's widely distributed, obviously, on Amazon. You can get it right there. You can get it on Kindle immediately. And it's if you want just a quick link, if you go to vintory.com/book, it goes directly to the Amazon page, if that helps a little bit.
Can you share what are the sort of themes within it?
Yeah, well, first off, just the format of the book, just so everybody knows. So again, 52 contributors, 52 co-authors. The first half of the book is everybody's, raw feedback. I mean, even with misspellings and everything in it, I didn't change anything. I put it exactly the way it was. It's their top 10 mistakes. So that's the first half of the book. So if you think about it, 52 contributors, 10 mistakes each. We have 520 raw mistakes of the top leaders within our industry. And then what happened, Liam, in the second, what I did was I realized very quickly that out of those 520 mistakes, they all bucketed pretty nicely and pretty neatly into about 10 chapters. And so the second half of the book is, 1 through 10. It's the 10 kind of chapters, the 10 major mistakes that all these top leaders made. So I'll just give you kind of I'll just throw out a little tease, and we obviously will maybe jump into a couple of these, but like mistake number 1 is based around strategy. Mistake number 2 is all around your team. Number 3 was about systems and processes. 4 was finance and accounting. 5 was kind of more based around like kind of cleaning, inspections, laundry, and safety. 6 was communication, feedback, and guest marketing. Mistake number 7 was based all around inventory acquisition, obviously the one I'm pretty passionate about. Number 8 was taking on the wrong owners and the wrong inventory. Number 9 was based around technology. Number 10 was about networking, conferences, community, and local competition. And we even had a little bonus chapter. It says, take care of yourself, don't take it personally, and don't forget to celebrate the wins. So that's kind of the format of the book. But I definitely had some favorites in there, but I'm happy to dive into whichever ones you want to go into.
Take away. Which one was your favorite and why?
Well, it's probably too obvious, but inventory acquisition, because that's what we do here at Vintory. It's all about inventory acquisition. And I would say there's probably about 4 or 5 sub bullets within that. But a lot of it came down to what I realized was most people don't have a strategic plan to grow their inventory. Very often they have a very strategic plan to grow their guests. They have they have this marketing calendar built out a year in advance, but very, very few companies, the mistake they made was not having a proactive strategy and not setting aside a certain budget to grow your inventory. Because Liam, honestly, the lever that has the greatest impact to your top line revenues, your bottom line profits, and even building net worth is really growing your inventory. It's like a 4 to 6 time impact of any other lever that you can pull. So what people realized was that the mistake that they made was they just weren't having that proactive plan to go out there and do it. They weren't investing properly. They didn't have the right team around it. And a lot of them, shameless plug for Vintory, they didn't have the right software to power that back end like we do here at Vintory.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Boostly podcast. Boostly like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.